Hello, it's me RP again, and I am here with a product review video. So recently there was a company based in Malaysia that reached out to me called FOBO, and they wanted me to review a product of theirs. Now the product, it is a Malaysian made product, so I thought it was something I should try and give a chance, me being from Singapore and Malaysia being so close by. We should always give our Southeast Asian brothers a chance in reaching out into the global market with their products. So why not? So the product they sent over to me was this, the FOBO Bike 2 TPMS, or Tire Pressure Management System. Short disclaimer here, FOBO may have reached out to me to review the product, but they did not offer to pay or sponsor the video, and I did not ask to be paid either. There is no contract involved, so I can pretty much say whatever I want, and this review is entirely my own personal and honest opinion about it. So of course, tire pressure management systems or measurement systems, they're not particularly new things in the market. They've been on high-end bikes for quite a long time, and as far as cars are concerned, in many European countries, the cars that are brought into those places, they have to be mandatorily fitted with a TPMS system. So for motorcycles, generally they only appear on high-end bikes, at least when it comes to stock machines like the BMW 1300 GS. And most of the time, TPMSs on this machines like the 1300 GS, they tend to be built into the rim itself, so you don't really see it on the wheel externally. But something like this, it would be a third-party product that you can easily fit onto any bicycle or any motorcycle, trike, whatsoever, even a car if you decide to actually buy four of this. But the one I have in my hand, they were packaged for bikes, so they came with two and priced accordingly, and they fit pretty much any vehicle that has tires with Schrader valves. Now the packaging on this is pretty solid. It's quite nice, and obviously over here the manual on this, it's a bit hard to see, and it's probably a bit hard to read, what with my lighting being so bright. But just looking at it, it's actually quite easy to understand. It's written in perfect English, at least in a simple manner. The layout is quite clearly shown, so it's not that difficult to understand how to actually set up your FOBO Bike 2 with the included manual. So I'm going to also go through the items that are included in the package itself as well, and then we'll move on to how to install them. So in the packaging, you get, of course, the sensors. You can get them either in black or silver. The ones I have here are in black. You also get 4 plastic lock nuts to prevent the sensors from being easily removed from your bike by hand. Then you get a pair of plastic keys for the lock nuts, as well as a keychain to carry your lock nut keys with you. And lastly, FOBO has also provided a pair of rather solid metal valve stem replacements that they recommend that you use. However, there is absolutely no necessity to use them unless you want to. So I will use the pre-included spare valves as a tool to demonstrate how to install them. It's pretty easy, so I'm just going to pull out the valve cap. Now they do provide this. This is a plastic nut that is meant to deter theft. So once you put it on, it's really hard to actually remove the actual TPMS thing here. So it's quite simple. Installation on your valve would just involve you putting the cap, this anti-theft cap, with the extruded point facing downwards into the valve, this way, all the way down to the base, and then all you need to do is just screw on your FOBO Bike 2 TPMS system, or all the way to the base as much as you can push it, ensuring there's a properly good seal. And then you will need to have this is the key for the nut, and then you just need to put it where the lock nut is and then screw it counterclockwise, gently, not too hard, and basically bring it up against the FOBO Bike 2 sensor over here. And now it is nearly, I didn't really screw it hard enough, but now it's very difficult to remove the thing. So the bike that I'm using for the test of the FOBO Bike 2 will be my Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. Now, I have placed them on my own little extra extension of the valves. Now, these sensors, they are relatively chunky, so do make sure that when you fit them to your bike, if you have an extension like mine, do make sure to check the clearances. Now, for the setting up of the app, it is quite easy. Now, the app itself has a couple of pressure units that you can use. You can use kPa or PSI. I personally prefer PSI. You can even choose Celsius, the correct unit of measurement, or Fahrenheit if you are one of those screaming eagle devils. And there are so many other settings that you can choose to work on. Now, to actually set them up, it's quite easy. Add new, motorbike. So next, you can take a picture of your bike if you want. I don't really care for doing it now, so I'll just call it Ducey, and then next. And it'll set up the profile, and this is where you can set up the pressure alerts. So next, so I'll just leave it at that, and you can add your vehicle details if you want, not necessary. So this is where you set up the sensors. Just need to click the profile, and then it will bring you to a little wizard. So it'll tell you to screw on the sensors first, then touch the sensor with your mobile phone, and then proceed. So they'll start with the rear tire first. And now your first sensor is set up. Second one. Okay, and there you have it. So there you have it. The sensors are installed, and the layout and partitioning of the screen space on the application is quite intuitive. It's actually very nice. If you had 3 sensors, I assume there would be like 3, one at the top left, bottom left, and maybe here or here, and then the picture of that type of vehicle on the bottom or whatever. There will always be space for 4. There's a lot of easy readability from afar, so I can actually see this at like probably 2 arms lengths away. You'll be able to see your front tires current, front and rear tires current pressure, the amount of battery left on the sensor, the pressure, or I mean rather the temperature of the tire, as well as how long ago it was updated. Press this, and then there is a bunch of additional actions you can take. And then release, if let's say you want to sell the sensors, you can just press release. But as long as the sensors are tied to your application and they are used on this app without being released, they cannot be used on another person's application. You can still keep the sensors on this app without setting it up, but you can just, take the sensors off and put it on another bike if you want, and then it will just read the sensor readout on that without having to change anything here. I'm just going to show you that I can actually release them. Yep, release, and then release. So this basically means my two sensors over there, I could possibly give them away, give them to my friend, give them to my dad. So here's my own verdict on the FOBO Bike 2 TPMS system. Number one, I think it works perfectly well. It works on my bicycle, it worked on my bike. It's accurate, it's easy to set up, it's easy to take apart as well. My own personal opinion on the security system is this lock nut at the base here, over here. They are not particularly useful if you are using them on a bike that you ride daily. It makes it difficult to actually pull out the thing by hand, but it is not impossible to rip it out. The real security feature on this thing is the link to the app, making it practically worthless to anybody that tries to steal it off your bike. Now, the only issue is that thieves in general, they don't really do any research on the things they're stealing. If it's something they think they can steal, they'll just steal it, even if they don't know if it's worth anything. Most thieves are opportunistic criminals, so this lock nut probably isn't that useful against actually preventing theft, and it makes it very inconvenient because then you'll need to carry the key around with you every time you need to air up. So I can see the security features on this being very useful if you are trying to use it to monitor bikes that you don't actually ride a lot, something like a vintage or a classic bike that has a limited lifespan on the road. You don't want to bring it out all the time. It's sitting in your garage or your parking lot and it's leaking air and you don't check it up that often. So it's very useful to have, so that every time you walk past it, it just alerts you on your phone that you have either a leak or low air pressure on that particular bike. But otherwise, on bikes that I will ride daily, I just probably do without the lock nut over here. I was also quite happy that in general the construction of each of the individual sensors, they are very good for something this small. Obviously the shell is plastic, but it's quite a sturdy piece of plastic. Inside there is also a little rubber ring to prevent water from getting in. So it is water resistant but not waterproof, so don't go dunking this into a tub of water or full sending into a swamp with your bike. It's like any electronic, not always 100% waterproof. It's just there as a precaution for rainy days, but otherwise the construction on this is quite solid. It runs on a single CR1632 cell battery, very easy to find in your convenience stores, pretty much anywhere in Singapore or Malaysia or anywhere in the world for that matter, and it's very easy to replace them. And the batteries that are included in the FOBO Bike 2, out of the box, they will last you about a year, and if you change the batteries, they will last another year, and so on and so forth after that. I would also have to say that the application itself, it's intuitive, it's easy to see. Most of the menu layouts, they are very conveniently placed and in places where you can see from quite far. I personally wouldn't mount my phone on my bike and then actually read the tire pressure readouts just like that while I'm riding. I probably only use it, as something I would keep in my pocket, and then if there is an alarm that goes off, at least I know beforehand, before I get on the bike, and then I'll check it. But otherwise, I probably have it as a sleeper app or sleeper tool that I don't generally look at unless something happens. But for some of you, if you are using it as a way to track the tire pressure on your track machine, because when tire pressures fluctuate as tires heat up on the track due to acceleration and braking, it is a bit of a problem, because you most likely definitely want to be able to track your tire pressure as the laps go by, and you also definitely don't want your expensive $1,200 phones mounted on the dash of your motorcycle. So I would say my recommendation to FOBO is that if you could provide a additional accessory, something that is small, unobtrusive, easy to install on maybe a USB connection, and then with a adhesive backing that you could paste on top of your dashboard or a sports bike tank as a way to read the tire pressure readouts. That would be great. Something that's lightweight, so it doesn't just fly off when you're riding at fast speeds and the adhesive can't hold on that connection to the tank itself. That would be great. That's my personal recommendation. So what do you think about this TPMS system? Do you think it would be useful for you? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Remember to click the like button. Give me a subscribe if you like this video and you would like to see more review videos like this. And of course, to manufacturers out there, if you have anything you'd like me to review, do send me a copy or contact me in my contact section up in my YouTube channel. Bye bye.